Welcome back, YouTubers, to the 24th Q&A with us, the British Fist.
Ka-ching.
Ka-ching, indeed. That was a very soft British Fist thing, wasn't it?
Ka-ching.
There we go, that's better. I'm Mr. Parkin, back once again with my England shirt. This guy sitting next to me, he's rocking and rolling. He's rocking, rolling, rocking, NJ.
What's up?
What's up, NJ? What's up to you guys out there on this Tuesday? Subscribe up above, like this video, and get your comments on the questions we've been answered down below if you have any.
Make sure you contact us in the link in the description box below.
Indeed, if you want to send in questions through Facebook, facebook.com/BritishFist, preferably through our personal inbox, or comment down below if you're that lazy. So, and also make sure you be patient. We will answer your questions as soon as possible. We have got a bundle of questions to get through, but we're going to try and get through them as quickly as we can. We'll start off then with 1992. How did we say that again? I can't remember. 1992. Gyro. That's the one. Sorry, I couldn't read for a second there. What do you think of my Wrestlemania card? Main event: Rock versus Cena. That's been made anyway, so that makes sense. That would be I think that would be a good match. It's more of a draw than a good match. So it's a good draw. It's your main draw to the Wrestlemania.
That's true. Yes.
You also would have a WWE title 60-minute Iron Man match between Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. Imagine that being. I kind of imagine that being like a Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart Iron Man type match. The way them two could probably go.
When I look at it, let's say you've built up Daniel Bryan pretty good beforehand.
Like WWE.
Yeah. And you got CM Punk there that will help Daniel Bryan look better. I think. Yes, I think that'd be a good match.
It could definitely work, especially if he cashes in Money in the Bank and stuff. So, a World Heavyweight title Texas Death Match between Sheamus as a face and Wade Barrett as a heel. It could work because we've seen Sheamus in films and stuff act like this tough sort of street brawler, and we know Wade Barrett is a bare knuckle fighter. So it could work that way, like a proper, believable fight, kind of. But would you want to see that at WrestleMania? That's the thing.
Well, the way I see it, Wade Barrett getting back up involved, having many good matches, big blockbuster matches at WrestleMania. Sheamus, well, he is getting pushed towards the main event, so the two brawlers going against each other would make a good match.
It's a match we would want to see somewhere down the line, isn't it? Between these two. And yeah, so that would be a good match. Luchas de Apuestas. Sin Cara, aka Mystico, as a face versus Rey Mysterio Jr. heel. Mask versus Korea, something like that. Like Mask, he says Mask versus Korea. Do you think that would be a good draw for WrestleMania, especially if Rey Mysterio is going to be ending his career with his injuries?
Well, let's forget about the last Mask versus match we had.
Mask versus Korea.
Now we're having Mask versus Korea. I think, to be honest, this whole gimmicky match, like for the Mask they've had in the past, they were just stupid. But as it's got the importance of Rey Mysterio's career on the line, I would give it that chance. Yes. Yeah. No,
I would be all for this match. It's a good it's a good draw. You'd have, the Mask sales would go through the roof probably, and it would get. I'm guessing you'd have Sin Cara win for the next generation of kind of Lucha Libre guys there. So I'd be all for that match. The Tag Team Championship one, however, maybe have a couple of problems with personally. Christian and Del Rio heel versus William Regal and Drew McIntyre.
Hang on, you've got Del Rio, the main eventer, in a tag match. Christian, I don't really care about. He whines, cries. You want the title back?
Still a great tag team wrestler though. You got to give him that.
Yes, I'll put him. I don't mind Christian, but Del Rio, no.
Not in a tag match. No, I'd rather have Del Rio go against like an Undertaker or a Randy Orton or something like that. But,
true. But your other opponents, fine. Regal back involved, Drew McIntyre back involved. There you go.
That'd be those two. Just to Del Rio, put him higher up on the card, maybe against an Undertaker, who's not on this list, I don't think. So maybe have Del Rio versus Undertaker on that card. Who knows? Intercontinental title. Oh, we got an Intercontinental title on the card. Thank God. 2 out of 3 falls. Cody Rhodes heel versus Orton face. I think that would be a good match at WrestleMania, personally.
Orton face.
Well, as long as Rhodes goes over, I wouldn't mind too much. It'd be redemption for WrestleMania 26.
It would, but again, the fact that we're still keeping Orton as a face, I don't like it, but it's a good match for Cody.
Yeah, it definitely would be. US title, Dolph Ziggler versus Alex Riley. I mean, that's the match that we wanted to see to start with, rather than this whole Mason Ryan, switching between Mason Ryan and fucking Zack Ryder shit that we got.
If the whole Mason Ryan hasn't been built up before WrestleMania, Alex Riley would be the best choice, yes.
Yeah, women's title match, Natalya face versus Beth Phoenix heel. Maybe a break up there of the Divas of Doom. Probably the two Divas wrestlers they've got in the company.
Well, let's talk about the Daniel Bryan match. If you have Natalya built back up again, because she's been losing dramatically over these last few weeks, so I'm thinking if you have her booked up strong, ready for this match to go up against Beth Phoenix, then yes, I'd go for it.
Okay then. Next set of questions comes from Sheldon Fernandez, aka Mr. Trick 1. Always sending us questions here at the British Fist. We love questions! Right, 5 questions. These will be pretty simple questions.
Good.
Do you guys think it's time to change SmackDown's theme?
Depends how long we've had it, and yes.
I do think it's time to change SmackDown's theme to something better than Green Day. I love Green Day as much as the next guy. In fact, they're my favourite band, but I would like to see more of a wrestling theme rather than Green Day.
True.
Will I ever see Desmond Wolfe from TNA in the WWE? Well, he's now in ROH, and he's injured. He's probably never going to make it to WWE at the big time, so no.
No.
Not anymore. Will Mark Henry ever go to TNA?
He'll
stay with WWE.
His career's finished with WWE, so it depends on what he does next. But I bet if he got the opportunity to stay with WWE after the way he's been booked, he would.
He definitely would, just because he's been with WWE for so long. So I don't think he'd go to TNA at all. It's loyalty, something which there's not much in wrestlers nowadays, but Mark Henry pretty loyal. So
he is indeed.
Will Jeff Jarrett go back to the WWE? No, because he's founder of TNA. So
and plus he was embarrassed in WWE.
Yeah, he got defeated by China. not to be honest, not that embarrassing because China was a man beast.
But still, he felt embarrassed losing to a woman. But there we go.
This is more of an accurate question. Will John Morrison ever go to TNA? Let's face it.
There's a big chance.
If his contract runs out, they could use him as an X Division guy or even as a Jeff Hardy type main event guy, I feel.
Well, the way he's performed in WWE, he's not seeming poor in it now, but I think he could relive his performance in TNA, so yes.
Would you rather see him as an X Division guy or as a main event type player in TNA if he does?
Well, I say a main event in WWE could be a possibility, but in TNA, I think X Division works way up.
Yeah, X Division, John Morrison versus Austin Aries, that would be a great match.
Yeah.
The next question is from Yo Joe 36. I got it right this time. I'm sorry, I got it wrong all those times, brother. Instead of Lesnar versus Goldberg at WrestleMania 20, which was a massive fail because their contracts are both up, what match would you have built up? I'm guessing by this question you mean instead of that match. We have different opinions on this, do we? Or is there a match which you would have built up for WrestleMania? Let's not. It's a 20th WrestleMania. What would you have built up as kind of like a big draw rather than this shitty match that we got?
Well, to be honest, yes, at the time they were both big stars, but to be honest, this match didn't perform as well.
Oh shit!
So I'd like to see another big draw appear on this WrestleMania. Someone like Hogan, I think.
Well, you had WrestleMania 18. You had Hogan versus Rock. You had WrestleMania 20. I believe you had Hogan versus WrestleMania 19. You had Hogan versus Vince McMahon. Why not have Hogan versus Steve Austin? Or something like that, because Austin was the biggest babyface of the Attitude Era. Hogan was still working at the time, I believe, so we could have and he was the biggest face of the Golden Era. So those two, that's a match which we never ever saw, and I think we probably should have seen that. It would
have been a good match. Why not put Lesnar or Goldberg against Hogan? So they're still on the card, because at that particular time there were still big wrestlers.
I believe Lesnar had a bear hugged Hogan to death or something, didn't he? But I don't know. That's what I would have personally. That's what I think should probably happen, just as a big draw.
Yeah, good.
And this one is, I think this is for me because you don't follow football.
No.
I'll see if I can answer this. Why the fuck do Peterborough fans hate Leicester so much? If you know, well, I don't actually know why, but I'm guessing it's because they're quite close cities. So in that case, people would see it as a derby. Probably that's what I think anyway. I'm not really too sure. I went to the University of Leicester and I didn't hate Leicester, so I don't know why, but there we go.
No, I don't really know. Unless it's something to do with past matches, I don't really know.
Yep. The next set of questions is from Coventry Jordan 90. Do you want to read mine out, then I'll read yours out?
Okay, Dan. What past events / achievements stand out to you from Manchester United history and why?
For me, the 1968. European Championship win, 4-1 against Benfica, is a big standout. Beating Liverpool in the Premier League titles last year was also a good landmark. Finally beating Liverpool in that Premier League titles thing. Those are two things that stand out for me. Ferguson being there for like 20 odd years is another standout. Ryan Giggs breaking the Premier League history for appearances is another massive standout, considering he's only been at one club. Those are the kind of things to me that stand out from Man United's history. So. Got your question next, NJ.
Okay.
What can the WWE do to improve ratings on SmackDown?
Well, the way I look at it, the main thing that disappoints me with SmackDown, it's not live, so there's spoilers a few days before, so it really lets the fans down who want to see it live. Like Raw is always interesting because you don't know what happens. It's the fact that maybe the roster is not as great as it could be, so that was kind of disappointing. If you've got more details, we'll link to our How to Improve SmackDown in the description box below. But again, SmackDown seems to be doing better than Raw at the moment. But and again, when time changes, when Raw sorts their stupid problems out, it could be leveled again.
Definitely so. Next question, MJ. Germany Bash asked us. This question is for me again. I'm getting a lot of questions here. Do you want to read it? Because I think it's just to do with Triple H.
Oh dear, okay.
And I think they want me to give my honest opinion on this one.
What do you think about Triple H's future? Will he come back to a full-time wrestler, or will he be doing some business after WrestleMania 28? And remember, NJ, this question is for Dan.
Well, we have seen he has returned to the ring. I'm not sure if he's going to return as a full-time wrestler, but I think if he's going to be taking over control backstage, it would be better if he focused on his business aspects. But WWE really do need the star power at the moment. So to see him back, even though he kind of hogs the fucking limelight on Raw a lot, good to see him back gives WWE much needed star power for matches. So for me, his future is in the business aspect of WWE, but for now, it could be as a part-time wrestler to come in when WWE kind of need that star in a feud like Punk, Triple H, or whatever, Triple H, Nash. So for me, his future is a combination of business and a combination of wrestling, but more business as he gets older, like Vince. So that's my opinion.
There we go.
Got a couple of questions, 8 questions here from the Renegade 102. Who would you like to see face The Undertaker at next year's WrestleMania?
Well, there's been the whole, when Taker returned, there's the whole talk about him and Sting. Sting's not going to be the choice. There's the whole Wade Barrett. I think they could possibly push him, because I think he's been going up and down in wrestling, like great and Raw, bound SmackDown.
Yep.
Or it could be Sheamus, who's getting a push back up to main event. So it'd be one of those two, I think.
I think it'd be any young guy that WWE have got coming up, like a Del Rio or Miz or someone like that, even like a Cody Rhodes. Just someone who can get a rub off Undertaker, who's going to be in that main event scene as a major player, in the future.
The importance about this year's WrestleMania, I think it could be his last. It's got to be someone that's going to hold great importance in the WWE's future.
But they do need to decide though whether they want to focus on their future or focus on giving him a good send off. He'll be in the Hall of Fame probably. So I mean, we don't really know at this point because he's just so far from returning. We really don't know what WWE have got planned. Wade Barrett would be a good one for me. Personally, I'd love to see Wade Barrett.
It would be good, and he continues his whole attack.
Barrett Bassage.
There we go, yeah.
No, Barrett Barrage. That's I got that wrong. Whatever.
No.
Botching again, eh, NJ? Not been doing it much lately. What are your thoughts on Brock Lesnar possibly returning for one more match, maybe against Stone Cold and Undertaker? Stick to UFC, brother. Just saying.
Brock Lesnar had all his big rise in the WWE. We weren't in there long enough for us to care about him.
2 years.
So I think, to be honest, stay out.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a big draw. It would get a lot of USC fans probably watching WWE. Whether we would want to see it though, maybe if it was done correctly. But I don't think Brock Lesnar will really agree to anything like that, even though UFC have allowed him to. Yeah, there we go. That's really it. What WWE wrestlers would you like to see form tag teams? Ryder and Hawkins.
Drew McIntyre and possibly someone, because to get him back involved, the best way to get back involved was start a tag team.
Yeah. What about two faces like O'Reilly and someone else?
O'Reilly, I think he'll go for the mid cards now. Stay out.
But the way he's buried at the moment, I just think bringing him back in a tag team might be useful.
Maybe so. Yeah, they're the main ones. They're the top from the heads.
What about something like FCW guys? I'd like to see maybe some younger guys bringing through from NXT or something like that. Maybe like Claudio Castagnoli or something like that. And Kings of Wrestling. Why don't WWE have the Kings of Wrestling? Not yet. I don't know why.
It's a bit disappointing they're not back yet.
Fourth question we got is: do you think it would make sense for WWE to scrap Night of Champions and have all the titles defended at WrestleMania? As much as I'd like to see all the championships defended at WrestleMania, Night of Champions for us, it's a good pay-per-view because let's face it, not all the championships get defended on pay-per-view. So to have a pay-per-view which has the gimmick of all championships being defended, especially mid-card titles, which don't always get defended in tag titles, it's a good idea for us.
Well, this is the way I see it. You could have a Night of Champions where it is, because obviously that is a time of the year where people are drawing ready for the build to WrestleMania. So like having the title matches defended at Night of Champions, and then maybe having them defended again at WrestleMania, having both, I think they're good.
Yeah. Best and worst WWE pay-per-view you've ever seen, Andrew?
Oh, good question.
Best WWE pay-per-view. I think this would be the easiest one.
It'd either be SummerSlam 2002.
Yeah, that's for me, or WrestleMania 19 or 17.
17.
One of those three. I'm a SummerSlam 2002 mark, so I'm going to say that. But I did enjoy WrestleMania 19. As for the worst one, SummerSlam 2007 for me, it sucked. Triple H versus Booker T, and there was like no real built matches on there at all. SummerSlam 2007 for me.
Yeah, I can remember that one. Yeah, that
any
was
others
good.
you can think of?
Well, it's not actually whole pay-per-views. It's matches in pay-per-views that would have been better. But to be honest, I think we'll just stick to what we said. Yeah,
WrestleMania 27 was pretty bad as well, but probably not the worst of all time. But
no.
There's probably some old school ones which were really shit. I know there were some really shit Survivor Series and WrestleManias, but we can't go through those because we don't know anything about them. We're only 22 people. Best and worst TNA pay-per-view you've ever seen. Of the TNA pay-per-views we've seen, which is the best one? I think Destination X, followed by Slammiversary.
Destination X, I think, was a good thumbs up here.
As for the worst one, for me, as I started watching TNA earlier on, back in February, March, when they were doing really shit, Victory Road was probably one of the worst pay-per-views, just because you had that whole Hardy showing up high in the main event. You had no number one contender defined between RVD and fucking Anderson. You know, that pay-per-view for me kind of sucked. I don't know what your preferences is towards pay-per-views.
No, I've only just started watching it, so to be honest, most TNA pay-per-views have their bad points, so I can't actually pick one that's got full bad points.
Bound for Glory up there for you?
Bound for Glory could be a big choice.
Yeah. If you could book a storyline for WWE using any wrestlers, who would you choose and what would happen?
Well, there's the whole Undertaker streak coming up.
Yeah. Should we focus on that?
I think that'd be the best one, yes.
Who would we want to go against him?
Well, I personally still think Wade. Yeah, because I think, to be honest, between now and then, he's got enough time to keep building himself up to be a possible person-to-face taker.
Yeah.
The storyline I personally do is Wade Barrett saying, I was waiting for the right time to re-approach you, and your undefeated streak is what I'm aiming at.
I think this is the kind of thing you could have them to eliminate each other at Royal Rumble, have some sort of match of WrestleMania later on. You know, it could be a great match. It could be a great feud as well. We all know that Undertaker does want to work with Wade Barrett. So if you introduce Wade Barrett's, you know, British charisma, British mic skills, and Undertaker's, you know, presence, you could have a very good match there.
I think the way they perform and the way that we need Wade Barrett back in the main event, the whole streak thing could be a good push for him.
And the next one, if you could book a storyline for TNA using any wrestlers, who would you choose and what would happen? What two wrestlers would we like to see? Well, should we do Storm and Rude? Because anything can be better than the way they booked it. For a start, we wouldn't have them fight on free TV. We would build it up a couple of months. We would have had James Storm win the Bound for Glory series, because he would, if they were going to make him win the title, they might as well make him win it as a babyface, because they obviously want to use Rude as a heel there, don't they?
Well, I suppose I want to agree with you. The way I would have done this booking is I've had Rude actually become the champ at the pay-per-view and beat Angle. That's the way I would have done it. Just him beat there, then had these two maybe have Storm approach Rude, the champion, on the following night. But
I would have them fight at Genesis, 3 pay-per-views after Bound for Glory. I just think with this kind of feud, you want a massive payoff, so you've got to keep building up that feud, Maybe have, you know, a Robert Roode face an AJ Styles at a pay-per-view, or anyone like that at a pay-per-view, and then face each other. I think that would just be a lot better than the way they're doing it now. Build up some anticipation, build up the feud. You know, turn Rude heel at a pay-per-view rather than free TV. Do you know what I mean?
That is true. Because the way I see it now, the way they've made Rude lose to Angle, then the following night, that stupid short match. I think, to be honest, their booking from that has not done any favours for Rude.
No.
It's done, not in my personal opinion, not done much justice for Storm either, because he had a boring match.
2-week fucking title reign.
And I really was disappointed with that. So, again, better booking than that would have been better.
Definitely. So we would go into more detail, but unfortunately we're approaching the end of our Q&A.
Yeah, indeed.
Get your thoughts on any of the questions. Maybe you've got some things, maybe you've got some thoughts on the questions we had, the storylines, or the people in that. Put them in that comment section down below. Keep sending us in questions via the means we've said before. Keep them coming in, of course. And NJ, finish off this video.
Thank you for watching our Q&A, people. And that has been it from the British Fist. That is assist of Mr. Parkin and me, NJ. What's up? Goodbye.